Hello there, and welcome to this video on the AGT series of rifles. In this video we're going to be showing you how to flip the cocking arm from one side to the other. The information in this video will be relevant to the AGT Vulcan 3 as well as the AGT Uragan 2. And on this particular rifle we're going to be flipping the cocking arm from the right hand side to the left hand side, although the process is exactly the same no matter which side you start with. The first thing we'll do is make sure that the rifle is safe to work on. To do that, we're going to be cocking the rifle. We're then going to be removing our magazine if one has been fitted. Then we're going to be dry firing the rifle into a nice safe backstop. This procedure here just ensures that there's not a pellet loaded into the barrel and that the rifle is safe to work on. With that all said and done, we can begin on the job, and the first thing we're going to be doing is removing the cocking handle. To do that, we're going to be using a 3 and a 4mm Allen key. The 3mm Allen key goes in the top and the 4mm goes in the base of the cocking handle. Then we can just unscrew the piece there. The cocking handle is normally done up fairly tight from the factory, so just be aware of that. With that done, the next thing we'll do is remove the top rail, and that's done by just removing these two screws here. Again, using a 3mm Allen key. Up next, we can remove the cocking arm, and to start with, we're going to be loosening this bolt in the side, which is just that one there, and we're going to be doing that using a T20 Torx bit. The screw itself does have a small spring washer beneath it, which is just that piece there. So we have the screw and then the spring washer. The spring washer just stops the components from vibrating loose when the rifle is in use. Up next, we can remove the cocking arm by loosening the two grub screws. So they're both in this hole here. The first grub screw is a locking grub screw, and then the second grub screw is the pivot point for the cocking arm. Both are removed using a 2mm Allen key. With both grub screws removed, we can carefully remove the arm from the side of the rifle, being nice and careful not to lose the small shim washer on top of the cocking arm. So that's just that grey piece there. The last thing we can remove is the cover plate from this side. And the cover plate on this side can again be removed using a T20 Torx bit. So there we have it there. The cover plate can just be flipped over and installed onto the other side straight away. And then we can reinstall our cocking arm. The only thing we have to do with our cocking arm is remove the shim washer and place that on the other side. As we're flipping the arm, we need to make sure that the shim washer is now on top of the cocking arm. What I've done there is just wipe off some of the old grease, and we're just going to be adding some new over the top. The grease that I'm currently using is moly grease, although you could also use plain lithium grease if you didn't have access to moly grease. But we're just greasing both the top and the bottom of this piece here. We can then take our shim washer, add that to the top of the cocking arm, so this side here, and then add just a tad more grease to the top of that. With that done, we can get that installed into the side of the rifle, lining this hole up here with this hole in the top of the block. And as this goes in, we just want to make sure that we don't knock off the small shim washer as we install the cocking arm. The next thing we can do is take our pivot point, which is this piece here, and get that dropped on over the top, giving the cocking arm a little wiggle to centralise the pin within the cocking arm hole. With the pivot point done up nice and tightly, we can then add our locking grub screw, which is just that piece there. Up next, we can get the cocking arm secured to the cocking dog by the use of this screw and spring washer. So that's the screw there with the spring washer installed. We can get that done up nice and tightly with a T20 Torx bit. And that's just located in the side of the rifle, just there. With that done, we can reattach our cocking handle. And again, that's done by using a 3mm Allen key in the top and a 4mm one in the bottom. Before we get the top rail installed, we are just going to test the cocking arm to make sure it reciprocates back and forward nice and smoothly. So I'm quite happy there. What I was doing there was just decocking the rifle. To do that, all you do, pull the cocking arm all the way back until it locks into position. Then, whilst holding the cocking arm back lightly, you can then depress the trigger and that will decock the rifle. As you pull the trigger, just keep a firm grip on the cocking arm itself, as it will want to fly forward as you depress the trigger. But that's how to decock the rifle nice and safely. The final thing we can do is get the top rail reinstalled. And before that goes on, we are just going to wipe off these mating faces here to make sure we have no debris or anything like that on either of these two faces. Then we can get the screws done up with a 3mm Allen key. What I like to do is get both of the screws done up till they're touching, then feel the top block in relation to the main cocking block, this piece here, to make sure that the rail isn't off to one side. Once I'm happy, I'll get those done up nice and tightly. And there we have it. There's the cocking arm flipped from one side to the other. With that all said and done, that's pretty much going to do it for this particular video. So thank you very much for watching. I hope it's been useful, and we'll see you in the next one.